So, welcome to CSL Charlotte. We are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. So, today, the title of our message is The Essence Remains. But let's start with a short centering because when you close your eyes sometimes and take all the distractions out, you only have you, the essence, and that's all you need. And you hear right through that. So let's take a nice deep breath in and release it out. So, what Faith Rivera just sang about is what this whole talk is about. It's the heart of the talk, which is the essence remains. You see, God is that energy that lives as us, breathes as us, moves as us, and we call it spirit, energy, the essence. Some people call it the universe, some people call it the source, but it's still everywhere we are. So that means to me, wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, Spirit is. Wherever I am is the presence. And that's what all of these things mean. And the essence is no different. It's all together. One thing. What does it mean to you? Spirit is wherever I am because spirit is the very life that I resonate with. That's what I think it means to me. And what do you believe the essence is to you? So, what we're sharing here is something we value deeply. I just allow anyone who feels fed by it to support it. Our community flows as it, and it is also sustained through generous givings and donations. And thank you for your part in that. With that energy, open your minds and your hearts and use this idea to understand that the essence remains. So wiggle your fingers and your toes, connect your mind, your body, and your spirit, and listen with that connection. So all of this is the same. It's just adding, or the word's been there forever, but the essence is so powerful to me. I just kept thinking about that all on the plane and everywhere. The essence is behind all life. So when I was not driving, I was not flying the plane. While I was up in the air and I'm on top of the clouds and I could see some of the, city and the country down there, I always say that. What is behind all of this? So I said, God is, spirit is, the quantum field, all of it's that same presence that Melissa talked about. And you know what? It's not just appearances, because no matter what appearances are, a lot of times it can be a little deeper than what you see. So when you first heard the title of today's talk, The Essence Remains, I wonder how you felt. Did it stir something up in you? The essence remains. Okay. For me, those words carry a deep sense of certainty because I know it's never going anywhere. The essence remains. That's because I know there's an essence everywhere around me, through me, and as me, and the essence of who I am will never diminish. It just won't, no matter how many conditions I have or have to deal with in my life. So as long as I know that essence is there, I'm going for that. The world around us can change, circumstances change, finances change, appearances change. But no matter what, I know there's going to be change physically. My body has changed over the years, and everyone I know has seen bodily changes. But no matter how much the body and the appearances change, something essential remains in all of us. And that's why when I went into this studies and became the minister, I said, I just can't imagine just praying and thinking that you're this and this and this is good, because you live Matter of fact, you can't buy anything without your health. You can't buy life insurance if you don't have health. So that body and that mind and that spirit, the three of them have to be recognized daily. And that's where the essence remains in all of us. And that brings me to the heart of this message. The essence remains. Here's the heart of the message. It's not about what happens to us in life. It's about the consciousness we're living in. Whatever the consciousness we're living in, we need to understand that's why and how things happen. Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. See, this presence, this essence that's within us is not diminished by our age, by disappointment, or defined by any appearances. I know this for a fact because of the people I watch it go through. People that have broken things and the parts of their muscles stiffened up or they lost parts of their body, they still have that essence and they work it. If they don't work it and deal with it, I see the difference. And the person who doesn't deal with that and a person who literally goes out, you can redo this whole body. This body can be restored. I know for a fact because things happened in my body that switched and changed back because it never diminishes. But if we take that time with it, we can do a lot with it. We build the whole entire body. And so that's one of the things we got to know. We are definitely not limited by circumstances or appearances or conditions. That means the essence is all there is. What you see is not what you get. It's not just what happens in life. It's the state of your consciousness. That's where things happen from. Change the state of the happiness by changing the things you look at and change them so the things you look at will change. So something remains when physical appearance changes. I have a person who had a terrible stroke, and I've known that person for many, many years. So when I got to see her 2 weeks ago, I noticed the appearances. The tongue was never working right. It would always hang out the mouth. The speech slurred and all of that. But you know what? I was still looking for the essence in her while we were talking. I'm telling you, I saw it. And the minute I saw that, I can honestly and truthfully tell her, no matter what you went through outside this physical body, what's going on inside of you is this beautiful essence that's still there. She still has that same drive. She got out of the car because she was down here looking for an apartment. So she's going through all the different places. She's talking to people with the slurred speech. She's determined to explain what's going on. She walks into the places, do what she's got to do. She's so there. That's a person who's determined to follow the essence, not the one that's, I can't walk, or I can't do this, and I can't do that. I can't do whatever they feel they don't have anymore. They go with it. There's an essence in each and every one of these bodies that are sitting here today. And each and every one of these bodies can change because when the life surprises us with stuff, something remains with us. And that is that essence. Something remains when we learn to look beyond the surface of what's going on and discover there's a deeper truth of who we are. Follow that truth, believe that truth, and do what you got to do. Don't even worry about nothing else because you know this is the truth. That's not the truth of me. People are searching outside of themselves to learn what other people already find the time to cultivate within themselves. You got to find that time. So, have you considered this? This is another thing. I had a person, okay. Have you considered that when people drink or do drugs or whatever they do to get high, that it's not about those substances that they chase? No, they're looking for relief, peace, or a different experience of themselves. Have you ever considered that? The relief and peace is the essence that they already know is there, but they keep going. That is why a lot of people continue to drink that or do that, because they're looking for that feeling again. But when I found that feeling, because I used to drink as well, but when I found that feeling by doing what I do, by sitting with myself, by being with myself and being able to talk to myself, that's when I realized that's what I was looking for. But anyway, I had a client I began working with 6 months ago, and she experienced a profound shift over what I just explained to her. Because a lot of the stuff that I go through, that I have gone through, I'm getting people that are asking for assistance in those things. So I told her, you know, you're not really looking for that alcohol. You're looking for that you that comes from the alcohol, that you that comes from the drugs. She was seeking this relief that, oh, my day is over, I have worked all hard, and this peace. Also, a different version of herself. But did you know that I can create several different versions of myself and it works for me? That realization changed everything for her. Excuse me. I use that realization so that she can understand herself more deeply. And that's true for all of us. You know, in one way or another, all of us are searching or looking for something all the time, every day. Once we get that, okay, cool. Now, what's next? Because that's the way life is. Next and next and next, evolution after evolution. We're all trying to feel better about something if it doesn't feel right. Oh, what about seeing things more clearly? We want that too. And what about experiencing life as the person you choose to be? The one that makes you happy. Yes, that person. Because it's not what happens in life. Here we go. It's the consciousness that we are living from in life. So there's something deeper than this physical appearance you might see. Oh, this person looks to appear to be happy, their bodies function, or this person doesn't look very happy and their body's not functioning the way it used to. But that there's certain things that just happen after catastrophic illnesses. But I'm here to tell you, I have witnessed cancer, stroke survivors, people who lost bones and all kinds of things that happened. And they said something similar. All of them did. You know what they said? I'm still here. I'm still me. Because they know on some level, whether they were thinking about it in the terms I was thinking of, there's an essence. The I am. That's exactly what it is. But the thing is, once they get that into themselves, their frustration comes when other people can't see that. So what I do is I look for a person's essence so I can know for myself. Listen to me. I know for myself that all is not lost. And that's what it is. And that makes it so simple for me to sit there and not be able to see the physical function of the person that's no longer there or whatever, because I still see inside through their voice, through their spirit and everything, that those challenges may have changed her speech, may have changed her physical movement. She has one side that doesn't work right. But let me tell you something, I see the center in her or him is still there. And I'm reminded, because of all of these things that happened in the last couple of weeks with people, is that the essence of a person is never defined by any single incident or circumstance or condition in life. It's not what happens in life. It's just barely the consciousness. Basically, not barely, basically the consciousness that we're living our life from. We live from something, and it's the consciousness or the essence. So when I look at other people and their body may be saying one thing, but their spirit is saying another. I got to look through them. Even when it's a person who's physical, because their spirit is saying, I still have places to go, just like she did. My friend was telling me, I still have decisions I have to make. I have a life to live. And as I kept listening to her, I don't hear the slurred speech anymore because I've gone beyond it. I've gotten so to the point where I can take my mind and change it just while I'm sitting there to talk to her. And she felt, and I know why she felt so comfortable with me, because I didn't see that anymore. It's gone from me. I spent decades watching people change. I've seen bodies get weaker, stronger, and heal. But I've seen people lose weight. I've seen people gain weight. I've seen people recover from surgeries, go through grief, and face illness. I've even been a part of some of that for myself. It was a lot of things I had over the last 10 years, 20 years now. Wow, time just go. So when I say life is deeper than what I see, I'm speaking from experience. When I look at a person, their body may have dramatically changed. But when I sit with them, I listen and I watch it, because I can see right through all of that stuff. Appearances, what Melissa read about, have nothing to do with the essence. So I, sitting and talking and fooling around with them for all that time, I eventually can see the same mind, the same spark of the same presence that they were all about all that time I've known them before the illness, and will always be there when they heal. So once she realized that, okay, this may take time, but I'm willing to hear you out about the stroke and rebuilding my body. That's all I need to hear. Because once you say, I'm willing to do it, I'm with you. You're going to change that, because I'm not going to let you give up. See, the body changes continuously, because that's what it does. But you know what? Thoughts change, emotions change, and circumstances change. Conditions change. Yet there is that sense of the I am, or the essence, that remains through all those changes. So when I see spirit as the essence in people, while their bodies may change, spirit never diminish, because I see spirit. What's interesting is that people who don't use spiritual language, it doesn't matter. They still know about the essence on some level in them. They say things similar to what we would say, what I would say. They would say things like, oh, she's still herself. That's saying she's still living in the essence. Or his personality is still there. That's saying the essence remains. Even as they have these major illnesses and injuries, the essence remains. So what's going on is they're recognizing that there's more to a person than that person's physical function. Isn't that something? It's beautiful to really think about it like this and put it in this nutshell. So I also think that my work and years of studies and all of this stuff gave me a unique vantage point. First of all, I was always a person who liked to think of the body as the most important part. My health was very important to me. I had things that didn't go right, but I didn't stress it. I didn't work it. I mean, I didn't focus on it. I worked it and I got through it. All kinds of stuff, from the cholesterol things to the COPD to the, you name it. A bit, what is that thing they call it? I can't remember the things they told me. The diagnosis they give you is not the essence. I had to understand that. And I really believed the studies that I was doing while I was going through what I was going through. See, in my years of helping people improve their physical body, I've seen something really important, two important things. Just because somebody has a strong body doesn't mean they have a fulfilled life. And likewise, just like a person has physical limitations, like my friend here, it doesn't mean that she has no more joy or no more wisdom or no more love or humor. It's all still there. So I don't get consumed by what happens to people. I get curious because I want to understand them more. So I want to know a lot more. So I ask them a lot of questions about themselves. And it helps them. And some of the people don't generally like the questions because I say this, you don't like the questions and you probably won't want me to help you because you gotta answer these questions. You gotta face these realities. So I get curious because I'm humane and I'm very attentive. I know it. So I'm not defeated by the appearance of things. Not at all. For a minute there, they may stump me. I'm like, whoa. Because when she met me for lunch at first, the first day, I was saying, you're not even, I don't know you. And then I said, oh, wait a minute, I'm here to meet her. So evidently. And so I sat down and listened and watched her talk and everything. And I said, wow, this is her. And that's where the talk came about 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's something in her that's still there. None of it is missing. That person that she was is still there. It didn't take away her mind, nor did it take away her spirit. You can't diminish the spirit. So I look for people, I look for their deeper reality. And once I find it, I get to enjoy them like nobody's business. And her sister said, you are so genuine. Do you know that most people would have had these frowns and everything? I said, yeah, but there's more things deeper to her than what I see. And I don't think she really understood it, but she appreciated it. The biggest thing I see is the essence of a person is larger than any single circumstances or any chapter in their personal story. And you know, we got several chapters, right? I didn't suddenly become aware of all of this because I stumbled upon Science of Mind in the 90s. No, I don't think so. I didn't just learn about the essence then. I think my studies and my research and all the things that I was doing gave me words for some of the things I was already experiencing that I already understood. I just didn't know the words I know now. Make sense? Because before this, my Christianity philosophy had different ways of talking about the essence, but the essence still always existed, no matter who wrote what and said what, or edacted any of those verses in the Bible or wherever these scriptures came from when I was coming through. I was always curious about how does that make sense? Make that make sense. That's what the kids say. Make that make sense. It was hard for them to make that stuff make sense, but I paid attention. I paid attention to my mind, my body, and my spirit because I would listen to them and I said, my mind said, no, can't have that one. That thought is a little creepy because I don't see how that works. Now, I may not have had all the language back then that I have now, but I always had this habit of listening and trying to understand more. I was always curious and I will remain that way, curious. I have lived different paths that I walked and I saw how other people's paths unfolded for them. But one of the things I saw in all of this was the essence remains. I stayed interested. I stayed in my self-awareness and I kept asking the deeper questions. I eventually built a life around helping people connect to mind, body, and spirit. I went from owning an Allstate agency, and one day when I gave a lady her check for her husband who passed away, a life insurance check, but after she left, this is the turning point of my life, 20 some odd years ago. I said, you know, I'm really not here for this. I'm here to help these people survive mind, body, and spirit. Because at that point, I was thinking of being a spiritual practitioner. But looking back now, I can see that there was always this question in the back of my mind, and that is, what is it that remains when everything else changes? Because when that woman walked out of the office, I said some words to her that comforted her like you would never believe. And I couldn't believe the words I was saying. That is why I no longer rehearse what I'm going to say. I say nothing if I have nothing to say, but I'm waiting to hear what the essence surrounds me with to make me say. And the answer that came back to me was, out of all the things that happens, Rosedale, the essence remains. Now, I know that beneath all the changes, there is something in us, and it stays available, it stays loving, and it stays connected. It's just the choices that we made to put us in the position that we're in. That's it. Learn from the choice and come on back to the center. There are many philosophies, and we know that. And we all talk in different terms. We say, science says that, oh, there's different fields, right? And they'll talk about a field and they use different words to point to the same essence. All of this, like Melissa was reading, scientists speak in the language of processes. They study, they research, and they tell us, right? It's that way. And many spiritual teachers and people on spiritual path, they talk about the meaning and the life of what's going on in their lives and experiences, right? And I say, why should we all be separated? Why should we all be thinking that we're all different? Because we are so not different. Science, wow, we can talk about it, all of it, but there's always one thing we're really talking about. It's the essence. See, neuroscientists, two of them. One is Candace Pert. Now, Candace Pert, oh my God, she discovered that there's an opiate receptor in the brain, and it links the mind, body, and spirit. And then Andrew Newberg, he's a neuroscientist and a doctor, and he's now those are the doctors I like. I don't like the ones that just strictly medicine. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't like them, but I listen to these people, science. But anyway, the best thing about this guy, you know what theology is, right? Well, Andrew Newberg, he's a neurologist who studies neurotheology. And what that is the relationship between the brain and spiritual and religion. Now, here's the thing. They're researchers, but they're not trying to say we're going to prove spirituality to be right. But they're telling us what they're finding. And what I'm seeing, what they're finding is these are things that support what we already know. So why not go by what the scientists are telling us and stop trying to figure it out, right? Logically. If this is what they're saying that happens to the brain when a person, then do follow that so you can let it happen to your brain. You know, that's the way I saw it. See, there is something else that I really want you to know, is you didn't come to this planet empty. And a lot of people think they did. Even though they say, oh, I know that there's just power within me, and I know. No. If you really knew that, you would be in a different place in life. You got to know it with all uncertainties. All uncertain. You got to know this. See, you came carrying that essence. And the essence remains no matter what you do, no matter how sick you get, no matter how happy you get, that essence is still there. The presence is always expressing as us. See, we're not here to find our power or find ourselves. We're here to remember, because we forgot through all of this upraising and all of the way that the schools and the institutions changed your mind or created your mind to be the way they wanted it to be. Go back to your childhood when the stuff they called silly, when you began to believe that stuff that was going on in your mind, and start believing that again. Because here's the thing. Whatever they say about the universe, you are the universe. Inside of you is everything that's inside of the plant, It's everything that's inside of the ocean. It's everything that's inside of that whole big old forest out there. You are that. And no matter what you do, the essence remains. Well, thank you, Horace, for explaining to everybody how important it is to do all the things and also send the donations. Because your transaction that you make, your giving is not a transaction. It's an affirmation of who you are. Our giving is part of the same process that I'm talking about here. It's an example of how the essence remains. When something nourishes you and supports your growth, the natural response is to participate in the flow. So your giving is a declaration, and you are declaring the essence in me remains. And it's the same alignment that I've been working with all this time in my spiritual practice. So it's a way of saying I value what feeds my mind, body, and spirit. So thank you for strengthening how the essence remains, all of everybody, and even on YouTube. Just think about how the essence remains works in your life through your giving. And thank you for joining us and listening to the essence remains as it does works in your life. So as we wrap up our time today, remember, no matter what you deal with, no matter what you have to accept, you don't have to accept anything because the essence remains. When your spirit calls you back home to sit down, go sit down, because the essence remain is a package deal waiting for you. The essence remain means choosing the version of you that matches your vibration, your vitality in your life. And the more consistently you can sit, the easier it is to come back and sit with that essence that remains. That song got it. She said it. She said, what you're going to do when that spirit calls you home to sit down. Because the quantum field is always supporting you so that you can understand that the essence is right here all along. Until we meet again, the essence that carries you forward, let it move you, especially this week coming up. And so it is.